If you can dream it up, I tried it. Not exaggerate. I won the John Deere arm lock. I tried the belly putter, mallet putters, blades, left-handed for a minute. Honest to God, Cordy, you name it, I tried it. Decided that I would just out-practice my yips, which was a mistake. He texted me out of the blue and he said, "Lucas, have you thought about the long putter?" I didn't know any better. I didn't want to know anything. I just wanted to kind of figure it out and make it look like Adam because his looked really good. And that's how it started.
When Lucas Glover won back-to-back weeks in 2023, the sweeper, the long putter, went from obscure to totally into the mainstream. So I wanted to hear the whole story. So I sat down with Lucas to learn, why did he pick up a long putter? What was the learning process like? Tell us his technique and swing thoughts and all the details of how he uses it and what he's working on today. This is all part of our new podcast season on alternative putting styles. We're talking everything from the long putter, the sweeper, to arm lock and everything in between. We're having on some amazing experts in the space. Last week was Sam Hahn, the CEO of Lab Golf, who was kind enough to make the intro to Lucas for today's episode. So make sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all those good places, as this series is really fascinating. It's a passion project of mine as we dive into what's going on in this space of alternative putting styles. I guess like take me back through the styles of putting that you have tried. Let's talk about the evolution of how we got to the sweeper. What do you remember? Because the U.S. Open that you won was a just normal blade putter, right? Just
right. Yep.
Normal grip, everything.
Yep, everything. So I'll just put it to you this way: if you can dream it up, I tried it. Not exaggerating. I won the John Deere arm lock in 2021. And then I went away from that, and then I went back to it. I tried the belly putter when it was legal. I tried mallet putters. I tried blades. I tried left-handed for a minute. Honest to God, Cordy, you name it, I tried it.
The claw didn't stick, huh? I mean, everybody loves the claw, it seems like, but it
tried
didn't.
the claw. The claw didn't do it for me because my issue was getting the putter off the ball, not flipping at it through the ball. So I couldn't get the putter started consistently because of my yips and because of the things I had going on. The most success I had pre-long putter, pre-sweeper, broom, whatever we're going to decide to call it that makes it sound cool, because it's, it seems like the old man way, but it's becoming cool. So I think we need a good name. But I had the most success with the arm lock. My issue with that was I struggled mightily setting up consistently to it because it had so much loft. If the setup got off just a hair, I was all over the place. But when the setup was good, consistent, that seemed to be the way to go. And truth be told, if I felt comfortable setting up that way, consistently again, I would probably use it because it was very effective.
Got it. So the arm lock was your favorite, but the setup was an issue just because that much loft. Were you playing with what, like 6 or 7 degrees?
Yeah, I didn't know at the time that I could get it pretty neutral and not have to fight all that loft. But I'd always been kind of a pressy, hands forward putter with a short putter, and I liked the way that felt with the loft and with the arm way up ahead of it, because it felt like I was hitting into something, like, stroking it into the left arm as opposed to the release that a lot of people talk about. And but yeah, if the ball position got off or my eye line got off even a fraction, it was very difficult to be consistent. I feel like the address with the longer putter has been easier to keep consistent.
Interesting. Okay. So why was that, just that struggle of setup? You're like, I've got to try something else different besides that. Did you go from arm lock to the sweeper? Was that the?
I did not. I went from arm lock to back to the short one. and decided that I would just out practice my yips, which was a mistake. Um, and then I putted after that. I probably putted the best with a mallet head with about 2 inches of grip above my hands, that kind of counterbalance thing. Um, Finished third in Memphis a couple years ago with that. Um, but reality was it wasn't the putter. It was my brain and my body, and um, and that's what kind of led me down the let's try something even more drastic.
That's really interesting. I bet I like what you said there, that I tried to out practice my yips. I
Yeah.
think that's such an interesting thought, because there's a lot of people which probably would say that, like, oh, just you can work through it. What did you learn about that through this process? Like, you can't just work through it, right? You can't outwork it.
No, it's an illness. It's a sickness. It's a full body reaction to a lot of things, whether it be fear or well, it is fear. It's the main thing. You're scared to miss, and what's going to happen if I miss? And all of a sudden, you're literally your central nervous system breaks down. So um, once I was taught that by Jason Kuhn, who I've talked a lot about, Navy
Hmm.
SEAL, and so taking it back a step further, I did all the sports psychology, all of the things that you would do to try to beat the yips. And eventually it came down to, all right, well, we're going to go completely against the grain here and talk to somebody that actually had the yips, just not in golf. And that was a former baseball player who had helped a lot of pitchers. Um, and the best thing I learned from him and what he drilled into me, no pun intended, Navy SEAL drill, but um, he said, Lucas, I don't know why you think you're mentally weak and why you would ever accept anybody telling you that. He goes, you're still on the PGA Tour doing this at the highest level with this sickness. And he didn't know anything about golf. He goes, all I know is you're still out there doing it. So it's time for you to switch this around and say, you know what, I'm actually very mentally strong, but I'm still out here doing it, because most people would have quit. Um,
Mm.
and once I understood that, it kind of opened up my brain, opened up my mind to, all right, how do I go from here since I do have this in me? And understanding that allowed me to start working through with him on, all right, how do I actually beat this? Because it is beatable. He proved it personally. And then all of his baseball players that he worked with proved it. Um, so yeah, it was a little different way to go about it. So I would say I was 2 to 3 weeks in with him, working on this, and he had told me, he goes, "Look, this isn't going to be immediate." He goes, "This might be a year-long process. This might be 8 weeks. It might be 2 years. I don't know." He said, "But it will work, and it's just time." Well, I'd struggled, even working with him on it. Didn't give up on it, and Brad Faxon, who I'd worked with on my putting before, he texted me out of the blue, and he said, "Lucas, have you thought about the long putter?" And I said, Brad, I haven't. I said, but I just ordered some left-handed ones. This was I missed the PGA in 23. So this was around the PGA of 2023. And he says, why don't you order some long ones too? He said, I think that might help you. And I said, all right, I appreciate it. So I did. And I thought about what Brad had said, thought about the left-handed ones unordered. And I thought about, all right, who have I seen putt nice with the long putter that kind of looks like me? Tall or height, just the things. And Adam Scott came to mind. So got my manager in touch with Lab Golf and said, just send me Adam's putter. He says, what do you mean? What kind of specs? I said, no specs. I don't want to know anything. Just send me Adam's putter. They said, all right, can we check with him, make sure that's cool? I said, yeah, I don't care. So they basically copied Adam's, and the long putters showed up before the left-handed ones. So that's what I started trying, and had 2 weeks off and spent a lot of time in my garage in front of a mirror. And I just tried to stand there like Adam, honestly. I didn't know any better. I didn't want to know anything. I just wanted to kind of figure it out and make it look like Adam, because his looked really good.
I,
And that's how it started.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love the quote that you
You said, you spent 10 days in your garage just figuring it out. And then I
Yeah,
think you went to the memorial right after or that or something
yeah,
like that. But like what did you do for those 10 days in the garage? You said the mirror. Like
yeah,
what else what were you doing in there?
yeah. My wife has a, uh, uh, you know, body or full size mirror in the garage when she does her workouts, and I took that and a putting mat that I'd bought on Amazon and just laid it out and got it square to the mat and said, all right, well, I know what I want it to look like. I kind of want to mirror what Adam does, and then I'll make it my own once I kind of get the baseline. And I just kind of figured out where to hold my arm, which grip felt the best with the bottom hand, and does 90 degrees make with my left arm make the putter go back straight, or just all those things. It was a couple hours a day in the garage, and I don't even think I went out and hit a putt with it for 4 or 5 days. I just trying to figure it out in there, um, and then, the part about Memorial, I said, "Well, if this is gonna work, I'm gonna take it there first, because those might be outside of Augusta, some of the more penal greens we play." And, um, I putted nice. I actually tripled my last hole to miss the cut, believe it or not, but, putted beautifully. Very unlike me to hit it bad to miss a cut, um, but that time in the garage just it it enabled me to make something my own. And this is probably deeper than it should be, but and I didn't know it at the time, but I was rewiring my brain for a different skill. Um, so 4 or 5 days into that process, I texted Jason Kuhn. I said, "Hey, got this long putter. It's kind of feeling good. What do you think? Should I keep going down this road and couple it with what you and I've been doing?" And he texts me right back. He goes, "Dude, this might be the ticket that makes this thing go by a lot quicker." And of course, I said, "All right, why is that?" He said, "New motor skill, completely new skill for your brain." He goes, "Whatever you've been doing, just keep piling on that, because you're rewiring your brain, you're rewiring your central nervous system." I was like, "Dang, this is deeper than I wanted it to be." But if he thinks this could speed this up, um, and I just told him what I'd been doing, and he said, "I think this could really could work and speed up what you and I've been working on off the course." I said, "Cool." So took it to Memorial, putted great, and then that Monday after Memorial, I missed that short one to miss the U.S. Open, and it. I don't know how it looked on TV, because I don't ever go back and watch myself, but it didn't feel yippy. I just missed it. And walking back to the car, with Tommy, my caddy, and my dad, and my dad came up to support me through this, a little bit that summer, and we were walking back to the car. A pretty long walk for a 300-yard par four. It felt like 900 yards, but Tommy grabbed me and he said, he said, "Wouldn't have been here with the other putter." And my dad said, who doesn't know golf or care, he just loves me. He just said, "Looked to me like you just missed it." I went, "Yeah, pretty much." And he said, "Did it feel like the old way?" I go, "No." And that was the first time I noticed that, sometimes you just miss them. But it wasn't because I couldn't make a stroke. I just missed a putt. It was almost dark and greens were bumpy, and I hit a bad putt. Big deal. And went from there to Canada and had the best finish I'd had in months with the long putter, and coming off of that crappy miss to miss the US Open, or keep the playoff going, I should say. I don't know if I'd have made it, maybe not. But that was a turning point that at that point looked like something negative, but because it felt like I was actually a golfer that just missed a short putt instead of a golfer with the yips, huge, huge, huge turnaround. And I believe because of the broom, the weight of it, the way I was able to get the putter off the ball, that started ingraining itself, and having that acceptance of, I hit a bad putt. It's going to happen. It's going to happen again. And, but it didn't feel, it wasn't yippy. And that turned the page for me with that. And I could start accepting missing those putts. So the sweeper, broom, whatever we're calling it, the way it makes me get the putter going, because of the weight, because of the way I hold it, hard for me to do what I was doing poorly with the short putter, arm lock, or any of that. So tying it in with all that stuff I said about the yips and all that, the makeup of the broom, the way I have to hold it, the weight of it enables me to get the putter going off the ball.
Well, I 100% agree with what you said earlier. Like, it is a new skill, I think. Like, I
Hmm.
agree with you. Like, it's not the same putting as we have done for years before. And
Correct.
really does take some time to figure it out. I didn't go as intense as you every day, but I think I over four weeks just kind of in the
Yeah.
house, just kind of
Hmm.
getting up from sitting at the office and hit some putts
Hmm.
for a while. You eventually kind of figure it out, and because it
Yeah.
is really different. What for you is the hardest? Like I remember just like watching that thing when I tried to take it back, and at first
Hmm.
like your path is just all over the place because you can't control it when you take it back. Like
100%.
what for you was it like the learning process like of figuring it out?
That no, Cordy, that's dead on. The first time you pick it up, and even anybody now, hey, Lucas, let me hold that thing, and it looks like a seismograph. It's
Yeah.
but yeah, it was that way for me. And then that was what I was talking about, kind of in the garage. Is all right. How do I hold my arm? How do I grip it? How do I put my shoulders? All of those things to get it get it going off the ball consistently.
Hmm.
And then what I had to kind of grab hold of was, all right, so I got center shaft, I got no torque, I got all of these things. So do I have to um, make the putter swing? Is it supposed to open and close? What is this thing supposed to do? And at the time, I had done no research on lab. I didn't talk to their rep. I didn't want to know anything
Yeah.
until I started learning. So once I got comfortable with my address, and limited that wave backstroke you were talking about, that everybody seems to do the first time they take a stroke with it, is then I texted the rep. I had his number from ordering the putter and all that. Texted him and said, "Hey, just simplest answer possible. Am I supposed to be arcing this thing, or straight back, straight through, or what?" He said, "Well, lab stands for lie angle balance. So you take the stroke and it's supposed to arc for you." He goes, "You only have," um, he said, "you're as upright as legally possible. So it's going to arc the least." And I was always kind of a archer anyway with the short putter. So that probably took the most for me, is that I don't have to worry about the face. Um, the putter is designed, and if it's fitted to you, it's designed to arc on its own. I'd never really thought about that, never really had to think about that. So it was a lot less arc than what I'd been working on for years with the short putter.
What I have enjoyed the most, I was in the wave of people that got broomsticks after
Mm.
you went on your run. I when I was talking to Sam, I think he said they sold more broomsticks or they sold 10 times more broomsticks in the day after that win than the whole year combined. So I think hands up, I might have been part of that.
Yep.
But
I see it back there.
I know I brought it in the back. That was intentional.
There you go.
Um, One of the things I find unique about like how you do it and that I modeled was how low you put your right arm and how it just
Yep.
kind of like my camera's not helping us out here, but like you just hang it way down. And
Yeah.
I had Liam over at Lab. I was like, "Hey, I'm like off the grip on the bottom of this. Can you move it down?" So
Yeah.
he moved it down because like that's one of the things I noticed when you do it is like your right arm is just you just hang it and you just kind of like it becomes real simple. Have you tell us about kind of like your setup and maybe some
Yeah.
more details of what you think about that, like what that triggers for you?
Yeah. Yeah. That came from my goofy, the way I kind of throw my right arm on it, that big motion.
Yeah.
So and wherever it went is where I wanted it to go. And it just so happened it went way down on the grip, because I don't know, maybe at the time, or maybe it's too short for me if you did it the perfect way. I don't know.
Mm.
But so my thought was how my arm came onto the putter from whatever hip high or however I do it is the same rhythm I want the backstroke to have. So if you can see it, when I put my arm on it, I want to do it with intention, and
Okay.
it's the rhythm I want the backstroke to have. I wanted something rhythmical in my brain when I got ready to go. So
Huh.
originally, and I'm going to be working on this off season, is because I got away from it. When I get that putter on, when I finally get the putter in my hand, I want to go.
Hmm.
I did that very well in 23, into 23, and going into 24. And I got away from it a little bit. I got a little static over it, which I don't like. But to answer your question, the reason or how I decided, the reason I ended up gripping it way down there is because that's just where my arm went when it felt the best. When I got my setup with my left hand, my top hand, when I got it set, well, I was bent over a little bit. I'd always been kind of a huncher anyway when I was comfortable. Um, and then wherever that right hand went was just where it ended up. And I'm right on the rubber. And like you said, if you got even down further, you might get on the graphite or whatever those shafts are made out of.
Yeah.
But that's just where I ended up. But that was kind of a mental and almost a trigger for me, was once my hand got on there, or when my hand started, that's the rhythm I wanted the backstroke to have. And as soon as it touched, I wanted to go in my stroke. That has slowed down in the last 18 months, and I don't really like that. So that'll be an off-season project, is to get going again as soon as I get that hand on there.
Interesting. Is that more of the like, hey, I saw it, I visualized it, and we're gonna hit the putt
Yeah.
right away.
Yeah. I think, and this is something I learned from facts, is we always want to keep moving. We always want to be an
Yeah.
athlete. We don't want to get static, and getting static um, is what would cause my poor backstrokes when I had the yips. And even now, it's not yippy, but it does get off rhythm when I stand over it too long. And that's just a personal thing. Um, when that hand gets on there, I want the eyes to come back and I want to flow off the ball. Um, a little bit of that rotella stuff, when I almost start the backstroke when the eyes are still out there a little bit, so we don't get back here on the ball. And um, learn that from facts. He showed me originally. He showed me. He goes, "All right, this is you hitting a pitch." I never stopped. Everything went. Eyes or my feet were moving, or something was all hands. Something was always moving. Full swing, same thing. I'm always fidgeting, moving. He goes, "Let's not stop on a putt. You do all this so athletically with everything else in your game." And that was a good lesson. I think that's a good lesson for everybody. You know, the putting stroke's just a small stroke. If you're a good pitcher or a good wedge player or a good driver of the ball, let's look at what you do there and try to mirror that in your putting. And Fax is big on that with all of his students and people he helps. And um, something really cool, that I kind of put in with my putting, and have gotten away from it, unfortunately. But I've had some time to reflect um, and look at some things starting this off season. I'm gonna work on that a lot.
All right, I gotta go deep. You've
Yeah,
intrigued me too much now. Okay, so do you visualize behind the ball? Are you like seeing the line, and then are you doing practice strokes behind or right before you hit? And then like how do you do a whole pre-shot routine so you're ready to just go?
yeah. So I use the line on the ball, and I'm trying to, um, you know, if it's a left edge putt, I'm gonna pick out something right in front of my ball that's on the left edge. Easier to line your ball up that way, right? So. Um, I double check all that, make sure it's lined up where we want it. Sometimes Tommy, my caddy, helps. Sometimes it's on me. Just depends. And then I kind of went away from practice strokes with Jason. We figured out that time was my enemy.
Hmm.
Standing up there and taking practice strokes, and um, you know, the less thinking, the better type situation. So kind of went away from practice strokes, um, and always put the putter down with my right hand and then get the left hand on there. And then, yeah, I take, take the line. My line on my ball, and I chase it down the line to the target. And then, by the time the eyes get back, I want to be gone with the backstroke. So yeah, I'm visualizing from behind. I'm visualizing the break of the putt, seeing it go in. If it's a left edge putt, then it's probably going in at 6:30, 7 o'clock on a clock. I try to do that a little bit too to get more visual. Um, and then yeah, I'm tracing the line on my ball down the target line, and then when I come back, eyes get back. I want to be gone in the backstroke, and you know, keep your butt in your neck still and hope it goes in.
What feels work for you? Like I've noticed that if I kind of forget to think about shoulders and back and trunk,
Yep.
that I can get
Hmm.
real armsy.
Hmm.
David Orr was talking about driving with your lead hand,
Yeah.
or do you not? What are
Yeah.
some things for you? Like what are some thoughts that you think about that have been helpful?
So when I finally got comfortable um, with this putter, I started asking some questions. I asked Adam a couple things. I asked Henrik Norlander, who'd bounced around back and forth with it, and I actually watched some videos of Scott McCarron and things I found on YouTube and different stuff. So for me, I was always a little bit of a cock in the backstroke and then hold. Kind of
Yeah.
the old way of putting is how I grew up putting. And if Fax had it his way, that'd be how I putt because that's how he likes to teach and all that. But you get somebody with the yips that's got a little of this in there, guess what? It lets go pretty quick. Um, so for me, I found that to engage my shoulders and to engage everything in my stroke, the best thing for me to do was use this to trace the line.
Hmm.
So when I get set, I want this left arm at 90 degrees to my target because that enables me to get the putter going back straight, and then the technology of the blade takes over. So I feel like, and I practice a lot on a chalk line straight putt when I'm working on my stroke, and I feel like my left elbow literally traces the chalk line. And if that happens, my shoulders are engaged, my back's engaged, and then I don't get so handsy or armsy, as you said.
Hmm.
So it was explained to me early on that there's really two ways to putt with a long putter, and it's very shoulder, very body, like you were saying, or it's very, or like I was saying a second ago, or it's very feely with the right hand. Like a paintbrush almost, like David maybe talked about.
Yeah.
But for me, I didn't like the right hand involved as much. I wanted to try to eliminate that probably because of some prior issues that I had. And so for me, it was just this elbow kind of drove the bus and that enabled everything else to be as one. Right hand just kind of along for the ride. Um, and that's kind of the way I did it. Not saying the other way's wrong. It was just a personal thing. I know a lot of guys that use this and feel like they're painting the top of the grass, underneath the ball, and it works beautifully. I could see I do actually feel that on long putt, really long ones where you got to give it a hit. But for the most part, I'm trying to paint with this left elbow,
Yeah.
paint that line with the left elbow. Excuse me.
Yeah. No, I mean, most of us have switched to this for those short and mid putts, right?
Yeah.
And it seems like a lot of the advantage of that can be when you take your hands out of it and you
Hmm.
just can focus on big muscles, right? So I love that,
Yeah.
like, yeah, your swing thought is just, I've got my elbow, I've got my line, and this is all I got to think about. And like
Yeah.
that's it, right? That's
Well,
that's
I
one of the
think one of
beauties.
those, yeah, I think one of those videos I was talking about, McCarran talked about this triangle, the
Hmm.
triangle that your arm makes once you have it up here. And he said, that's your engine or that's the power source. And that's what moves it and controls it. And I really liked that. I really liked that thought. And like I said, I took some things I've noticed from Adam and chatting with him. I took some things from Scott, from videos and watch Bernhard, and then you got to make everything your own.
Yeah.
Especially, putting's still an art. As much science as there is to it, it's still art. And there's people to copy but it's still got to be you because I'm not Adam. Adam's not Scott. Scott's not Bernhard, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But making something your own is how you really, really fine tune something because you're the only one that can feel it. You're the only one that knows what it feels like inside you. I'm fighting that right now with my daughter. She's a softball player and I'm watching her struggle and have a hard time hitting. She's in a slump. Well, I know now not to tell her what I see. Instead, I ask her, hey, what are you feeling up there? And she's the only one that knows that. And she really can't even put it into words. Like I couldn't sit here and tell you what I felt over that putt in Greensboro and why it went in or why it didn't. I just did it and I reacted. And that's what all of us as athletes want to get to, right? Is I can't tell you, Cordy, because I'm just reacting because I'm athletic and this is what I've trained to do. Well, reality is we're so in our bodies and so in our heads that, oh, well, my right hand was an inch this way and my elbow was too far out. And that's not reacting. Um, so it's kind of what I've learned the most is to make to get over a hump or to get something new in play, it's got to be your own. you can take pieces from people, but the reality is this is Lucas's way, this is Cordy's way, this is Adam's way, and then we fine tune it.
I love it. I love it. Did your mindset, I mean, it had to have changed. That 23 season was probably really stark, right? Like, was the beginning of the year your mindset over the ball going from like, hey, I hope I don't miss this, then toward the end of the year, like, hey, this is a cool opportunity to make it. Was it like that stark of a mindset
Yeah,
shift for you
yeah.
as well?
It literally went from I'm scared to death to putt, that this is bringing me down, this is going to cost me my job and my career, to by the summer of 23, I was like, I have a weapon and I'm going to do some shit. And I mean, that literally, it was
Yeah.
fun to walk onto the putting green. It was fun to hit it 20 feet and have a putt I could make instead of a putt I thought I was going to three putt. Honestly, it was that stark. I mean, black and white. It was, I'm scared to death in February, and I'm probably going to three putt after I just hit this 5 iron from 210, 12 feet, to I just hit a crappy 8 iron to 23 feet, but I'm probably going to make this thing. And literally, that's how it was.
I love it. I mean, it's cool,
Yep.
and the strokes gain numbers backed it up. It was fun. I was before we were talking here. I was scrolling through your strokes gain putting, and then just that season as well, and kind of like the
Yeah.
results and stuff. And it's fun to look at, like such a to look at and like your season and that and how drastic something like this can change. Like it's really
Yeah.
interesting how
Yeah.
how that like how it
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah. It was, yeah. I saw a couple go in, and I missed some short ones that weren't the yips. And I was like, oh my, I'm just a golfer again. And it was like this thing just went from a knot to open. My head, I'm pointing at my head. It was just, it was a knot up there. And then, oh, I mean, Steve Stricker missed a 4-footer one time. I saw it on TV. That happens to everybody, And that it just, my mind just went from a closed mess of crud to wide open and accepting, and like, I can still do this.
What do you think is your prediction of the next, like, I don't know, 3 to 5 years? Do you think we're going to see more people using these on tour? Like right now, I think there's probably like, I don't know, five-ish kind of out there. Do you think this is going to grow and kind of we're going to see more of it, or just kind of stay the same?
I think, I think you'll see more. I think you'll see more, and for only one reason. And this is very awful to say, but we're playing for so much money now, and it is so big and important that I think guys are going to struggle more with their short putts and getting the ball in the hole because of how much it means now. I think it'll be more of a mental thing than a physical thing. And now we're down to 100 cards a year. It's going to be so much more important, and people are going to think it's the end of the world and try really, really hard. And I think eventually we're going to see guys go into it for nerves because of those things. I really
Yeah.
do.
No, that's fascinating. Have you noticed more and more people asking you about it, like
Yeah. Yeah.
wanting to try it out?
Yeah, I'll get a text or two a week from a current player or a guy trying to make it. Hey, got your number from so and so. Did this help you more mentally or physically? Or I get asked for Jason Coon's number more than anybody, which tells me that a lot of guys, everybody's fighting something. Everybody, every person, much less every golfer. Um, but I think a lot of people are now opening their minds to the fact that I might be really good at something, but my mind's keeping me from being good at it. And I think a lot of people might be shifting over to a different type of psychology. Um, but I get a lot of questions about Jason and Sean, his business partner, and then I get probably half as many questions about the long putter and how it helped me and what was the hardest thing to change. And I had one guy ask me, how'd you get over, the look? I was like, what do you mean the look? They go, oh, it doesn't look cool. I was like, I don't care. It went in the hole, man. Um, stuff like that. But yeah, I get a lot of questions, and I probably get more because I'm almost 46 instead of almost 26 or 36 because of kind of the grandpa out there. But yeah, I get asked a lot about it.
What's your typical reply? What does that look like? What do you text back? Try it out. Just get one.
Uh,
See what happens.
just the truth, just the truth. They're usually pretty pointed questions, like what was the hardest thing for you to learn? Set up, where do I want everything to be,
Mhm.
um, and I get a lot of these younger guys. They're all into the weight and why, and I don't even know all that. I said, I don't even know what it weighs, man. I know it's like half a degree legal on the upright scale, and it's the length of my driver. Other than that, I don't really know. But um, I just, tell them what my experience, um, truthfully, and how it helped me physically and mentally. And um, if I see them 2 weeks later with one, I'll saunter over and go, "Yeah, it looks good, man." If I don't, I'm like, "All right, they didn't like it, whatever." So
What's the most common like advice or lesson you give to someone when you go over and you see that they're trying it out? Like, what's the most common like little feedback that you give to people? Is there anything?
I don't say anything unless they ask. If they ask, I'll tell them my experience or what I think or feel, um, and it's not like I'm all of a sudden, Bobby Locke with this long putter. I mean, let's look at my stats the last year and a half. It hasn't been great, but um, I know what it should look like and what it should feel like, and sometimes it's do as I say, not as I do type thing. But yeah, I just tell them my feel and my experience, and how I got into it and how I feel the best with it. And it's kind of like Henrik told me. He goes, "No, this is what worked for me, and I'm not going to say it works for you." And he doesn't even use it anymore. So I mean, it's a big deal. But yeah, just tidbits. You take some things from different people and apply it, and if it works, you add to it. If it doesn't, you toss it out. It's like getting a full swing lesson. Some feels work, some don't.
So I guess your advice then, anybody that's felt a bit of twitchiness in a hand. For me, it was my right hand. I can get a
Yeah,
little twitchy,
yeah,
Like I always say, like if you put me in if we're hanging out and I'm just hitting putts, like I can look great,
yeah,
But then if you put me in a tournament, uh, it doesn't look great suddenly. Like it is. Would
yeah.
you say like if you maybe relate with that, you should, hey, just do it. Just try something. Learn a new skill. Like this
Hundred
could
percent.
hugely help you.
Yeah, 100%. You're just teaching your brain and your body something new. And if you have any twitchiness, it's because of something deep down that's bothering you or fear or, you know, whatever it may be. And yeah, teaching your brain a new motor skill rewires your central nervous system or rewires your brain and releases your nervous system. And I'm not saying the long putters for only people that have a twitch or have yips. I mean, they work better for people that don't have any issues. Some people just like them better. Um, and just a matter of what you like or don't like. But for those people that do have yippy characteristics, absolutely, the weight of it and the completely new motor skill, and the fact that it makes you practice because you're not going to take a long putter out the first time in the member guest or at the Masters or at Harbor Town. Um, you're going to practice, and that's I always say that it's like how to make a tour player practice is you give him a new club. They're going to go hit it, and make sure it works. Well, the putter especially, but and I found that it was fun to go practice putting again because I was teaching myself something new, and I think there's a lot of value in that.
I couldn't agree more. It made like my off season where I picked it up just a blast, right? It's so
Yeah,
fun to learn a new skill, try all these things out.
yeah,
So give us a peek into your off season then. You're working on your timing and adding rhythm in. Like
yep,
what give us a bit of the practice plan for putting. Like how if
yeah.
what are you doing just and what can we maybe learn from your plan?
I have not hit a shot or a putt since the Sunday of BMW
Okay.
at whenever that was.
It's been a minute.
Um, yeah, but I will slowly start getting back into it soon. And I have one of the new Lab Oz putters, the more rounded mallet,
Yeah.
um, that I'm very intrigued by, with the steel insert. Should get the ball coming off a little faster, which I think could help me with my speed. But before any of that'll matter, since I haven't done much in the past few months, I will go hard with address.
Hmm.
How far I'm away from the ball, eyes over it, before anything else. And on tour, instructors, Jason Bale, my teacher, his line is nobody's ever played worse from setting up better. And so that'll be the first thing first with my putting, short game, full swing, everything is we'll start with setup, make sure that's dialed in because everything feeds off of that. So for me, it'll probably be in the garage. It's still hot as hell down here. So be in the garage a little bit and work on a dress and make sure that's dialed. And then when that's set, then I'll go fiddle around with this new putter and see what it's like. I'm excited.
I love it. For a dress for you, so eyes over ball, elbow at target. Anything
Yep.
else that you're looking for? Or is that
Yeah, I'm like a driver ball position, just inside my left heel. And when I putted my best with the long putter for whatever reason, I was slightly over the ball with my eyes.
Hmm.
Um, I've tried to figure out if it's because I'm so right eye dominant, but then I get turned around and confused, so I stopped thinking about it that way. But I know when I was in Memphis and I had somebody take a video down the line, Memphis in 23, those 2 weeks I putted the best I've ever putted in my life. I was slightly on the outside of the ball with my eyes. So
Hmm.
going to try to get back there and, I make sure this left wrist is flat, make sure my elbow's down the line, and then I just paint the line on my ball with my elbow, and that putter path is really nice. So that'll be what I focus on.
I like it. I like it. This is so fun. I think it's so interesting because there are guys that paved the way, like Adam, right? Like he was kind of
Hmm.
there, but then you were the catalyst that shot this up into mainstream. I mean,
Yeah.
would you ever have guessed that you'd be the catalyst for a new kind of putting method? Just honestly, like, and
No.
now guys at my club, like, there are 5 or 6 guys at my club that do this, and there was none before, right? There was no
Right.
one.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Well, I will say one piece of advice, especially if it's a lab, is get fitted. Just don't buy it off the shelf. Because the labs, you can't bend them, and you have to get fitted, and they have a very cool tool on their website. You can do it virtually. Big plug for lab here, but any long putter, get fitted because if it's wrong, it'll make it worse. But especially lab because they can't be adjusted as at all. Well, I guess these new ones can with the neck, but just go get fit. It's the biggest thing, especially if you're a decent to good player. Go get fit.
Yeah, no, 100%. And then I think you just have to get started and then you can learn and then make adjustments. Like it was
Yep.
fun. Yeah, like moving the grip down, like that was something that
Yeah.
I did.
100%.
And you can just start to mess around. Here, I got a piece
100%.
of history for you. So I was looking up
Oh,
the first long putter win was Rocco in 91, I think.
nice.
I grabbed this off eBay just to have a bit of like this was the first win. You weren't the first, but
No.
this was the
Oh, wow. Look at that thing.
yeah, it is really cool.
So I'm thinking that insert used to be white.
It must have, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Good find there.
it's crazy. This thing is it's way too light. It's
Oh,
like
really?
compared to what we're used to now, like it's just not heavy enough, but
Interesting.
it was a cool little that was
That's a
the
great pickup there.
yeah, first long putter win was with the B9, the Ping B9 came out in 90. So
Wow.
that was
Very
the
cool.
yeah.
Very cool. I got
That
a
was
history lesson today too. Awesome.
there you, there you go. Well,
Love it.
thanks, man. We'll wait to watch we'll see if you put the new Oz in the bag or you stick with the old faithful here with the old TGL. Or when are we coming back? When's the first? When's the first one?
December 28th or 9th.
Okay.
So I don't know if I'm playing or not. We'll see.
Okay. Nice.
See if they throw me in the fire or not.
As a defending
Cool.
champ coming back.
That's it. That's it.
Oh,
Very
nice.
cool.
All right. Thanks, Lucas. Appreciate it.
All right, Cordy. Thanks, man.
All right.